Let's go live. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 6th of September. So let's have a look at the markets today. And firstly, let's just bring the right one up. Here we go. So Monday the 6th. So could be a quiet day later. We get these bank holidays, not necessarily meaning a massive shortage of volume in the afternoons. We'll see, but we've got US and Northern America there, Canada as well, on bank holiday today. So expect it probably a bit lighter this afternoon for sure. In fact, it's the last holiday before the winter, so maybe of course it would be down. Well, it won't be down the Hamptons, but anyway, they'll be on holiday. So there we go. Right, so that's it. But we've got a lot to look forward to this week. We've got Reserve Bank of Australia coming in tomorrow. We've got obviously the big one is the ECB later in the week there. So plenty to go for this week. FOMC speakers, etc. So let's see where we get to. So let's have a look at the technicals then first, starting off with Euro Dollar. And Friday saw it pushing up. Couldn't hang on to the gains there. I wondered if the data had already been priced in. Well, it got its pop and its drop, but it pushed back up again. Similar sort of price levels. It got back to the bodies there, but seems a little soft as we look at it at the moment, and has put a lower high. In fact, it's put couple of lower highs in just. Weekly pivot sits below at 118.57 sort of area. That could provide some support. For those looking for the long side here, and we have seen quite a decent long side where there's a decent trend line sitting across these prior highs here. So a break up maybe above the 1879 area could see us returning to a sort of a more bullish direction for the euro on a daily basis. Okay, the pound again on Friday we saw it pulled back a little bit, still closed up positively, but we saw again the data. It was largely priced in, the data, so didn't expect too much coming from it. It was priced in from Wednesday. Remember, the ADPs gave the initial move. And these markets just put a bit of profit taking coming into Friday after the news there, pop and drop at the moment. And again, though, we've sort of got this point where with the pound as well, we've got the weekly pivot sitting below. Now, if we start breaking both on the euro, which I just covered, and the pound, it starts breaking its weekly pivot and running below there, well, and maybe get a little bit more bearish on them. But at the moment, they're both sort of bullish, and it's a case of just looking for the potential buy opportunities. Okay, that's the pound. Yen I got into on Friday. I did trade this on Friday on the downside. It gave me half a profit basically, and I've been stopped out overnight at break even. But again, it was the one that was holding off best. It's been one of the weaker ones. I wondered if we would see a bit more of if it did go down here, whether it would run down a little bit further, but certainly not. It wasn't intended as a swing trade, but that's stopped at break even now. Looking at it, well, the potential break above that weekly pivot, I'd be a bit more bullish on this dollar yen, so I'd be looking for the upside. It had been riding in that area. It's double bottomed effectively with the prior lows here. I was looking for a little bit more down to these other lows, down towards this other low a little bit more. It might still, I'm just sort of looking at it on back into this sort of 4-hourly picture, run into that weekly pivot and give us a bit of a move off of that. So it's worth looking, but anything back above that 4-hourly 50 etc becomes a sort of a bullish trade. And some of the cross pairs with the yen have been pretty good recently as well for the long side. So on the opposite pair, that being okay. Aussie dollar, another one strong yet on Friday there, strong, even a strongish close there. It pushed up in the later session, but sliding back a bit this morning again. Well, here it looks like support off that weekly pivot would be lovely, but whether it gets back to that sort of area, back to 74.04, so that would be quite a nice area, and then look for the potential longs off of that. Now, if it takes too long, if you look at the way this has been moving up, we have got news tomorrow. It might be just a riskier one and worth waiting, but if it takes too long, I'd stand aside anyway on that one because of the news. Canadian dollar. Finally last week, as I said, it broke down the trend line here. It's been sitting there consolidated for a long time. Usual thing, consolidation around the lows. It often breaks to the low side, and it has. It's doodling as at the moment. It's again, I'm looking at the sort of weekly pivots and thinking, well, if it reacts off of that, that would be a nice shorting area, maybe a bit more on the sort of swingy side with this Canadian dollar, but that's what I'm looking at there at the moment. Okay, other pairings, Euro Yen has been a good trading pair to the upside. It's been swinging up, and again, weekly pivots find some support somewhere here. I mean, it might go a bit earlier on the Euro Yen, but certainly some possibility there. The Euro, likes the Euro CAD, Euro Aussie Euro Aussie particularly has been selling off well, and again, I'm just waiting for a bit more retracements, a bit more of a retracement off of some of these. I think they could offer us some good opportunities for continuation. Now, a break through these levels, well, and a break through the trend line here will change plan for a while, but just want a bit more of a retrace to get into, and more on a sort of a swingy type basis as well, running over a few days. Okay, that's it. That's on the majors. Let's have a look at the commodities whilst I'm on this charting package. Just looking at the commodities here. Well, gold saw another shove up there on Friday and held up as well. I mean, we've seen it shove up in the past and roll back south again, and we're just seeing this sort of step process, consolidation towards the highs, pushing up, solid movements. Most of last week there was, I mean, it's untradeable. Even day traders would struggle on it for long periods. It was just bitty and horrible. And again, I'm just sort of looking at this thinking, well, back to the weekly, could offer opportunities there on gold. Oil, you'll notice I'm not going much below the 4 hourly, but this is where we're having, or where I'm looking to trade things off at the moment. Oil looks like it's turning a bit of a corner here. There are some that are sort of thinking that there's going to be a bit of an overproduction situation coming into next year. That might be being priced in a little bit now. These prices and these levels for me have been with the amount of potential oil out there and the production potential has always been a bit on the hefty side. It may be that as we see this breaking down a little bit more, it's just the weekly pivot at 68.02 there. Break down a little bit more might just give us that sort of okay, this is a bit of a swing short, but it does look a bit soft as we look at it now. Right, okay, switching markets. Let's just switch over to here, and we'll look at Bitcoin first because I'm on Bitcoin. Well, the crypto first. Someone did ask where. I'm sorry, I missed it on Friday. I was flashing through things so quickly. Solid day again over the weekend here. A couple of solid days actually. Well, sorry, a couple of solid days. Saturday a bit dull. Yesterday, it's solid old day. It's continuing to push. Is that? I'm just checking. It is yesterday running through there. It was yesterday. It's all right. So Friday, there we go. Friday was a pushed into a new high, but I mean, as I said before, these markets are really reflecting the likes of the euro almost at the moment. We're seeing these sort of moves against the dollar. Ethereum consolidating here. It pushed up a lot harder and a lot faster earlier last week, and it's just sort of been sitting there. I still think that's got more potential. It's pushed on through the sort of the area, the lows that I was looking at, the potential area where I thought we might see a bit more resistance. It's pushed on through that a little bit more and looking more positive, as is Ripple pushing through. Again, it's a bit of a laggard, the Ripple, compared to the others, but it's now looking pretty close to making new highs. Another currency I'm looking at here, I mean, it is the third biggest, apparently, I'm told, in terms of volumes, etc. Well, there we go. It's been pushing up quite solid. It's a newer one to the block, but pushing up really solid, but not, I don't know, same sort of picture in all of these markets. They look like they've got sort of continuation to be had to the upside, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see new highs here as we push on here. It just looks more positive. Right, equity markets then, finishing off on the indices. I'm being asked for more and more markets. I can't cover all these markets, guys. If I start covering more markets, I'll take markets off, because I'm really not trading these personally, and it just takes a lot of time up. So for now, I'm just leaving the 300. I can change it to the Nikkei if that's what you really want, but need to know as a group. Here we're seeing a little higher low coming in the shorter time frame, pushing up nice and solid. Over the weekend there, I've been sitting here looking at this market and looking at the lower highs, lower lows, but well, positivity coming in, I say over the weekend, over last night, through the Asian session there, good solid change there, so maybe it's going to switch a little bit. There is a trend line that should be across the highs there. A break of that becomes much more positive. FTSE just open. Let's see if we get some movement on that, pushing up already then. So FTSE pushing up, and I still see more positive moves, more upside potential for these markets at the moment. The DAX, well, the DAX has been again lagging somewhat. It struggled. It had a couple of days that it looked like it was going to push up and push through. Foul to, this is a sort of sign of a bit of weakness at the top of the market. See what it does today, but at the moment looking more positive. And the CAC, well, we'll look at the futures version here. That pulled off on Friday as well, turning around a little bit at the moment. Now again, you know, looking at the bigger picture where it still looks a bit sort of more positive, but I just think when I'm looking at this, a break of the lower trend here could see sort of a bigger wave to the downside. So there is a trend line across the lows there. It may have more downside. Finally, looking at the US markets, FTSE, what am I talking about? The Nasdaq then. No, it's not Nasdaq at all. It's the S&Ps. Sorry, I am on the Nasdaq. Big pardon. Let's get the S&Ps. Get the right one. Get the right one. There we go. So consolidation continues there on the S&Ps around the highs. Pushing up. I think again, we're just seeing so many new highs. We are seeing big money coming out of these markets for sure. I'm going to have a check later today, this morning, the money that's coming out, but the money has been running out of these the S&Ps, etc. On the futures markets, which is a sign that at some stage they might go, but for now they're pushing and they're pushing. Sorry, let's get back to Nasdaq then. So Nasdaq has been one of the leaders of the pack, and again, that's looking like it's almost into new territory already. The Dow Jones 30 just a little bit slow, a bit lagging a little bit more as well, just consolidated in this phase. It's just really a matter of time before I think we'll get a shove above the 523 area and see probably all the highs taken out and a new high put in completely. Okay, that's it for me. I wish you a great day's trading, and I will be back in the morning. Bye for now.